Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sumitra and welcome to my channel Pocket Pediatrics. So today we will discuss a very important topic, vitamin C deficiency and excess. So we see day-to-day basis cases of vitamin C, but we are usually unable to identify these cases because sometimes usually symptoms are mild, and if severe we can misdiagnosed as other conditions. So first we will see functions of vitamin C. So vitamin C has many role in our body. It has immune function. It has act in the neurotransmitter metabolism, like conversion of the dopamine to norepinephrine. It also has role in the cholesterol metabolism, which where it helps in conversion of the cholesterol to steroid hormones. It helps in the biosynthesis of carnitine also. It has very important role in the iron and copper metabolism, and it increase absorption of the iron and copper metabolism. As you know, we advise parents to give citrus fruit with to improve iron absorption, and it also has very important role as antioxidant. So now coming to recommended daily intake. Okay, so usually it's human depends on dietary source of vitamin C. So the daily recommended dose depend on the age. Like in 0 to 6 month it is 40 milligram per day. In 6 to 12 months it is 50 milligram per day. In 1 to 3 years it is 15 milligram per day. It is 4 to 8 years it is 25. In 45 in 9 to 13 years of age, and 65 to 75 in 14 to 18 year. In pregnancy and lactation, the requirement is increased to 85 milligram per day in pregnancy and 125 milligram per day in the lactation, during lactational period. Okay. So what are the sources of vitamin C? This is important, as we can tell the parents that you should, if somebody is having vitamin C deficiency, then they should take these source to increase their vitamin C intake. So the best food resource of vitamin C are citrus fruit, fruit juices, pepper, berries, melon, guava, kiwi fruit, tomato, cauliflower and green leafy vegetables. Okay, so now coming to who are all on risk of vitamin C deficiency. So children who receive heated food, because vitamin C is very heat sensitive. It can be destroyed by heating the food. So if somebody is receiving heated food, then they are risk of vitamins. They are on risk of vitamin C deficiency. Children who receive restricted diet, like in autism. In autism, children receive vitamin C restricted diet, so they are on risk. Children who do not take fruits and vegetables, and infants whose mother did not take enough vitamin C during pregnancy, or infants who are delayed initiation of breastfeeding, like premature babies, or they have some kind of illness, so during that period they haven't received the breast milk. Infant who receive unfortified formula feed, usually formula feeds are fortified with the vitamin C, vitamin D, calcium, phosphorus, but if somebody is receiving unfortified formula, then they are on risk of vitamin C deficiency. Now what are the symptoms of vitamin C deficiency? So vitamin C deficiency we call scurvy. So in this scurvy, the early manifestation of vitamin C deficiency are irritability, loss of appetite, low grade fever, musculoskeletal pain, tenderness in the leg. These symptoms are followed by leg swelling, most marked at knee and ankle. It is called pseudo paralysis. Child will be lying down on the bed the whole time, and he will cry like he is having pain in the leg, and he cry whole night. तो parents are like बच्चा तो रोता ही रहता है सारे टाइम. So if somebody is having these kind of symptom, you should look for vitamin C deficiency. The infant might lie on with the hips and knees semi-flexed and feet rotated outwards. In the later stage, they can have subperiosteal hemorrhage, and this subperiosteal hemorrhage we can confused with the arthritis on osteomyelitis. Children will have gum bleeding and swelling and anemia. Okay. Other symptoms are hemorrhagic manifestations like petechiae, purpura, ecchymosis at pressure points, and epistaxis, gum bleeding, and characteristic perifollicular hemorrhage. The other manifestation are poor wound and fracture healing, because vitamin C has a role in the collagen synthesis. So if somebody is having vitamin C deficiency, they will have poor wound and fracture healing. There will be hyperkeratosis of hair follicles, arthalgia, and muscle weakness. Children will have scorbutic rosary, but this scorbutic rosary will be sharper than rachitic rosary. Okay. So these are laboratory and radiological diagnosis. In the laboratory, we'll have vitamin C level below normal level. Okay. There, children have typical radiological features in vitamin C deficiency. So there will be thin cortex of long bone. Usually these manifestations we find in long bone. So especially in knee, femurs and femur and tibia. ठीक है. तो the cortex will be thin, so it is called pencil thin cortex. Okay. So and there will be ground glass appearance of bone, and this picture is showing all the features of radiological features of scurvy. So this is the subperiosteal hemorrhage. In the later stage it can happen. This is the Trummerfield zone. It is called rarefication zone, scorbutic zone. So what is this? This is the broken bone and tubercle deposit proximal to white line of Frankel's. So there is a corrugation of bone. You can see it. Okay. And distal to this Trummerfield zone, there is white line of Frankel. So this is also calcified cartilage. So you can see see, this is the line, irregular line of calcified cartilage. And this is the epiphysis of bone. The epiphysis bone is also has ground glass appearance with the sclerotic ring around it. So this is called Wimberger ring. And the lateral extension of white line of Frankel's called Pelkenspur. Okay. So these are the typical radiological features of vitamin C deficiency. So what are the differential diagnosis of scurvy? So differential diagnosis of scurvy can be arthritis, osteomyelitis, non-accidental trauma, child abuse, malignancy especially when patient present with the hemorrhagic features like petechiae, purpura. Okay. And copper deficiency also result in the radiographic picture similar to the scurvy. So if child is having signs of copper deficiency like Wilson disease and all that, then you have to look for rule out the copper deficiency. Okay. Hemorrhagic manifestation, as I have told, it can be because of HSP and thrombocytopenic purpura and leukemia. So if child is having hemorrhagic manifestation, you should look for leukemia also, HSP and TTP. So what is the treatment? Treatment part is in the vitamin C deficiency, we have to give vitamin C supplement of 100 to 200 milligram per day orally or parenterally as per compliance of patient. So it will ensure a rapid and complete cure. The clinical improvement is seen within a week in most cases, but treatment should be continued for up to 3 months for complete recovery. So how can we prevent vitamin C deficiency? As I have told, if infant is receiving delayed breast milk, so we can give breastfeeding earlier as soon as possible. We can give fortified formula feed. We can supplement in kids who are on restricted like in autism and all that. So we can give them vitamin C supplement before they have say vitamin C deficiency. And also supplement to mother during pregnancy who are smokers, because they are more on risk of having vitamin C deficiency. Okay. And supplement in kids who have chronic conditions like malignancy, leukemia, and thrombocytopenic purpura and all that chronic condition. So now coming to vitamin C excess. Vitamin C, when we call vitamin C excess, when the body level is more than 2 gram per day. The intake is more than 2 gram per day. Symptoms can be mild like GI disturbance, abdominal pain, osmotic diarrhea. And how can we prevent vitamin C excess? We should not give mega dose like in thalassemia. We give vitamin C with the therapy. So we should not give mega dose in thalassemia and hemochromatosis. Okay, so that's all for today about vitamin C deficiency and excess. And if you like this video, please like and share and subscribe my channel, and you can comment in the comment section if you want a class on any topic. Okay. Okay, goodbye.